this is Jennifer from Twist Yoga. I just wanted to go over the top 5 things you should ask a studio or a program when you're talking about doing a teacher training. There's a lot of trainings out there, and there are some absolutely amazing ones, but I feel like there are some things that you really need to ask about the programs. They're not all created equal. You can't really compare apples to apples necessarily. So we came up with the top 5 things that I suggest as a studio owner that you inquire with a potential teacher training with. Number 1, ask to see the manual. You want to actually see the manual that you'll be learning from, hold it in your hands, look through it, see if all the parts that they say are going to be taught are in the manual, and then ask who wrote the manual. It's really important to know who actually created it and who's teaching the program, because you have the opportunity to purchase already written teacher trainings, and then you have somebody that's just kind of repeating the things that they see in a manual, and it may not be exactly their teacher training philosophy. So it's important that the person who's teaching the training wrote the manual. So that's number 1. Number 2, ask about an honest minimum and maximum number of people who will be in the training. And ask about who will actually be teaching the training, and what happens if that person doesn't end up teaching the training. One thing that we see unfortunately happen is sometimes programs will advertise that certain teachers are teaching a program, and you get very excited because you're excited to take class with either the lead teacher and maybe some supporting staff that are maybe experts in their field. And then unfortunately the training program doesn't have as many students in it as they had budgeted for. So then all of a sudden you show up for the training and somebody new is actually leading the training, and sometimes it's somebody who's only graduated maybe a year or 2 before, and now they're leading this training, and it's not the person who you thought was leading. I would ask about that and what happens in that situation, and what happens when they tell you, oh, we're going to have this prenatal teacher and that meditation teacher and this philosophy teacher teach the program, and you get really excited for the integrity of the program, and then you get there and maybe those teachers unfortunately couldn't teach. So that's number 2. Number 3, ask about the hidden costs associated with teacher trainings. There can be several of these that we've seen, and we try to be really careful at Twist to be very upfront in what all your costs would be. You should ask about exactly what books you need to have. If they need to be new, or do you have to own them? Can you check them out of the library? Ask what apps you'll need to purchase for your phone or for your tablet. Or if there's any other hidden costs. A lot of studios will require that you go take classes at other studios, and you'll be paying a drop-in fee for those, so those can add up quite a bit. The other thing I would ask about those hours that you are required to take at other studios, not only are you paying for those hours, but are those hours actually counting in towards your 200 hours that you're supposed to be being trained by this studio that you're paying to train you? Because that seems a little strange to me. A lot of times you may be required to take 5 or 10 classes at other studios. Well, that's 5 or 10 hours less than the training that you are paying for is actually teaching you. I mean, that's pretty good for a studio if they say, oh, we're going to count those hours in. Not only do we not have to pay someone to teach it, but now you also have to pay additionally to go take those classes. Now, that being said, I think taking classes at as many studios and from as many teachers as you possibly can is the way to go. But you should just be aware of that when you're going into a program. So that's number 3. And then I would ask number 4, how do the 200 hours break down? If you're taking a Yoga Alliance certified 200-hour teacher training, there should be 200 hours of learning in there. That is what a 200-hour training is. So if you are looking at a program and it looks like really there's only 75 or 90 hours when you add the hours up, And all of the rest of the learning and the training is done on your own, either study time or taking classes at other places or meeting with other students, that should be a red flag. The hours in the studio are not going to add up to 200 necessarily, but the majority of those 200 hours should be taught with a very experienced certified yoga teacher. So that also touches on Yoga Alliance. Yoga Alliance is the main governing body that certifies yoga teacher trainings in the United States. That being said, they are simply a certification process. And you should know when you're looking at teacher trainings, just because you have that little label on the teacher training that shows that it is certified by Yoga Alliance, this really does not mean anything. Being a studio owner, I can tell you that, and going through the certification process, I was very saddened by how it worked. And so basically this is how it works. You tell Yoga Alliance, hey, I'm gonna have a yoga teacher training and can I be certified by you? They say, definitely, yes. Here's a syllabus of the number of hours that you need to teach specific things in order to be certified by us. And you say, great. So you take it, you fill it in, you say, I'm gonna teach this much prenatal, I'm gonna have this much anatomy, I'm gonna have this much meditation, I'm gonna have this much Ayurvedic, this much chakras, this much sequence. And you send them your Excel document and they say, awesome. And the next, come back in 24 hours, they say, great, send us the $450. Awesome. So as a studio, you send them a check for $450. You teach your yoga training. They never check back. They have absolutely, as far as I've seen, there's no follow-up to see if you actually taught what you said you were going to teach. Now, that being said, if somebody complains, if someone graduates from your program and they say, this was complete BS, we had, 70 hours in studio and half the time it was taught by, a teacher who just has a 200-hour certification from a couple years ago. So if they get complaints, they may not allow you to continue having a certification program, but sadly, they don't check up. They don't follow up with students as far as I've ever seen. Okay, number 5. If you're looking at a teacher training program, if I were you and I was doing the training, I would call around to as many studios in town or out of town and ask the owners there if they don't have their own program. Of course, if they say, oh, our program is the best, right? You think your program's the best. I think our program's the best, right? Ask them, specifically call studios that don't have teacher training programs. Ask them, of what training programs in town would you 100% hire a recent grad from? And what training programs in town would you under no circumstances hire a grad from? And hopefully they get back to you and hopefully they're very honest about that. I, for one, would never hire somebody that graduates from a program that teaches them a set sequence. At Twist, all of our classes are different, and I think it's very, very important that a teacher understands how to put a sequence together. They understand the steps. Every single yoga asana that is contained in a class should be there for a reason. So when you graduate from a training program where you just memorize one sequence, that's amazing. You know one sequence and you can teach the heck out of one sequence, but that's all you can teach is one sequence. And so then you could teach one class at Twist and then you're done because you would have no idea how to put another sequence together. Or for example, if you have somebody come in that says, oh, I hurt my wrist this weekend and I can't put a lot of pressure on my hand. Are there some other things that I could do? So ask about that. Ask about recent grads. Can I talk with some recent grads, get their opinion, and then call around to other studios and speak with owners and ask their opinion. They're the ones that see graduates come out and see teachers that have been teaching for a while and see the pros and cons of lots of different teacher trainings. So just do your homework here. It's a lot of money to do a teacher training, I know. It's a huge time commitment and it's a big energy commitment. It's such a special and amazing time. And I am deeply, deeply committed to having a very open and honest conversation about yoga teacher training. So if anyone ever wants to reach out to me about things, you can contact me at info@twist-yoga.com. This is also up on a blog called Top 5 Questions to Ask About Yoga Teacher Training. And it's at twist-yoga.com. So I hope you do your homework. I hope you guys have amazing teacher training experiences. It is one of the most life-changing things that you'll do. And I look forward to connecting with you online. Have an awesome day.